Hi, this is Coach Mary, and I have the pleasure today of interviewing Marianne Hare on her new book. And Marianne, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, hello, Mary. Really nice talking to you. Yes, of course I will. As you said, my name's Marianne Hare. Sounds a little strange. I live in Germany, married to Günther, who is German. Actually, I come from Switzerland, but that's how I ended up through marriage. And it's really good. And we have two teenage sons. And I work part-time. I like being with the family a lot of the time, so I have chosen to just take a part-time job in my original profession, which is as an RN. I'm actually a ward sister leading a team of nurses and nurse aides, and that's great fun. It is really wonderful having to be able to go out. I'm actually a people person. I like the contact with people, but at the same time also being at home as a mom, as a wife, housewife.
That's awesome. That sounds like a very interesting life and a very busy life. So tell me, Marianne, about your book.
Well, the book is actually a memoir. It tells three different stories that happened through my life. And these weren't stories, they were actually phases I went through. And they were connected with difficult situations. And the thing is, each time my relationship with God deepened because of the difficult situation. That sounds really strange, but it is true. And each time God revealed something to me about himself I hadn't known before, I hadn't experienced before. And so I went deeper and deeper, getting to know God as my Father in ever increasing ways. And the first story, or the first phase actually, led me to a point when I realized I do not need to make the right decisions all the time, do the right things all the time in order to be accepted and loved by God. Actually, I made a really bad decision in my life, and for a long time, I felt so guilty. I felt as if I couldn't really open up to God anymore, until I was so sad and so destitute that I said to God, well, I give up everything. There is actually nothing anymore that I have that's dear to me. I open my heart up to you now because there is nothing else left to do. That's my only hope. And I was so surprised when God met with me in a very intimate way, which I had never experienced before. And he said to me, I've always wanted to bless you. I've always wanted to give you good gifts. I've never wanted to take anything from you. And this was such an amazing experience that has stayed with me ever since. Just knowing whatever happens, God is still at your side. He is not going to take away the consequences necessarily of happenings, of decisions made, but he will go with us and walk through us.
That sounds like a wonderful journey and a wonderful way for you to express that. So tell me, Marianne, why did you write the book, and why did you write it now?
Well, why did I write the book? There are two more stories that go even deeper into how God is and understanding what he is like. And I came to a point where I said, I must bring that message out. I have actually met so many people that have fallen into despair, have become depressed because they felt they never reach to the level that God wants them to reach. They always mess up. They go to church, people find fault because maybe there are faulty things in their lives still. And they can't deal with that. They are broken inside, and then they get even deeper and think, God doesn't love me, I'm good for nothing. They run away. And they haven't realized that you can actually come to God the way you are. You don't have to bring anything. You don't have to show up with anything worthwhile. You can come as you are. And actually in that second story, that wasn't the case of necessarily making big mistakes, taking bad decisions. It was something I thought I just want to do good things for God. And I had a near burnout. And I realized I don't have to bring anything. I can rest. And before I do anything, I rest and ask God, what do you want me to do? Because He might say, this job over there, that's not your assignment. That is for Peter, Paul, or Anna, or whoever. I have a different assignment to me. And I realized this. It's the same thing as when Jesus said, I can only do what I see the Father do. Of course, He could have done everything, but He chose only to do what He saw the Father do, because the Father knows what's your job at this time and whom can you help most effectively, if this is what you want to do, if this is what's on your heart. And so because I met those kinds of people, I thought, what I have learned, what has helped me so incredibly, I must bring that out. I must let people know. If there are people who really need to hear that message, I do not want to withhold what God has given me. And you said the now. The now is, of course, there was, I just encountered a program that helps you to actually do these kinds of things like writing ebooks step by step. So I jumped onto that. So I was met with the right people at the right time to do this.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very good insight, Marianne. I liked how you said how it just took you from one point to another and led you down to where you're listening closer to what God has for you. So, Marianne, who is your audience and who is this book for? In other words, who should read this book and what will they gain from reading it?
Well, first, of course, are believers in God who already know God, who know He is their Father. They know the salvation obtained through Jesus Christ. It's for those kind of people. I mean, particularly the first story. It's you start reading it, and people told me, those that had a look at my book, you can't put it down. So it's really interesting to read. It's an exciting story. Yeah, and I like that as well, because it's not just theory. You know, I show in practical life, practical things that I learned, how I experienced God. And I think it's also really for people who maybe are sort of at the edge of church life, at the edge of social life, at the edge of church life. As I had already said, there are sometimes people that go from church to church, but they do not dare open themselves up. Maybe they have been hurt, maybe they have been misunderstood, maybe there was somebody who tried to put control over them. You mustn't do this, you have to do that. And it's sometimes, I mean, it's well meant, but sometimes the agenda is too big and people start feeling guilty. And actually, it happened to me too. You think, particularly when I became a believer, you think, oh, I've got to do all these things. And you want to, you're excited. It's your first love of knowing about God. But eventually, it becomes stale. It becomes a habit, something you just have to do. And the freshness, the relationship just leaves. And that tends to become religious. And if you then come and tell people you have to do that in that kind of way, that is really not very good. And also, I think if people realize I can be who I am, God is not going to come and turn me around or twist me so that it is pleasing to Him. If they know they are accepted the way they are, that really helps them to open their hearts, to understand God's love, to experience God's love. And this is what will change people. I mean, I led a house group for a while, and there were people there who were suffering from addictions, from depression. And I didn't say anything. I said, it's all right. You're all right with God. God can cope with that. It's fine. Just come, just sit before Him, just rest, just soak in His love. And they could open their hearts. God was able to do a great work with them. So this is really the message. What I have experienced with myself and with all the people that my husband and I have helped in the past. So that's the people who want to read this book. If you are a theology professor and you do not have these kinds of problems, you are well integrated, everything's fine, then this might not be the book for you.
It sounds like a very interesting book and a very thought-provocative book and going into the depths of a person's heart. And so that's awesome. I'm looking. So, Marianne, when and where can I get this book and when will it be launched?
Well, I will upload the ebook on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. That means you can get it for free if you are a member of KDP, okay. Of Kindle. I will upload it within the next few days, and there will be a period of 5 days when you can actually get it for free. Now, I believe this might be as from next Wednesday onward, which will be, I do not even know the date. Let me just check. It might be from the 5th of December. It might be before, but certainly on that 5th of this December.
Okay. Okay.
5 days free.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to getting that. And thank you so much for taking the time today and telling us about your book. And we're excited for you. And sounds like an awesome book. So I look forward to reading it, as well as I'm sure many others will.
Oh, thank you so much, Mary, for this interview. And I'm sure you will be blessed.
Yes.
Thank you.